Hi, I'm Shay Bletchend, and I've got here my preparation checklist, which is constantly changing and evolving. But I just wanted to kind of go over it a little bit. My first recommendation, if you're a home seller or a realtor, it would be just to do a Google search or an internet search and just say, how do I prepare my home for real estate photos or for a real estate showing? Because there's a million little basic, obvious things like put the trash cans and hide them in the garage instead of having them in front of the house. Things like that. I'm not covering that here. I do luxury real estate. I'm going to assume that most of my customers know that the house should look nice and the basic things have already been handled. But I do want to kind of go over a few little things that a lot of people don't notice or don't think about. So here we go. First of all, I've come up with this thing that really helps me to ensure that things are pretty dialed in when I get there, and it's called PC15. And what PC15 is just a request that all of the people and all of the cars at the house are gone 15 minutes before I arrive. It's that simple. The house is cleaned up, everybody's out of the way, you're gonna get your best pictures in that situation. And so please do review the PC15, but that's my request. We wanna sell the house as quickly as possible for the highest possible price. And so when we put the photos out into the internet world, there's a competition going on, and there's other homes in the neighborhood and other homes at the same price point. And if your home looks and is perceived to be a much more beautiful home, if it looks cleaner and fresher and newer, you're going to get more interest in it than maybe your competitors. So that's why the home preparation is huge. And so let's go on it. First of all, let's talk about people that randomly arrive in the middle of the photo shoot. We get gardeners, housekeepers, pool cleaners, stagers. Sometimes we forget, oh, we scheduled the TV guy to come in and fix the speakers on the house. So please cancel any appointments that are happening during the photo shoot. This is going to be a 3 or 4 hour escapade, and we don't need people coming and going, especially if we're doing video. This is like a movie set. It needs to be closed. Who is the person responsible for preparing the home? It's an interesting question, because I think most of the home sellers, the owner of the home thinks, well, the realtor should come over here and clean up. And the realtor says, this is your house, this is your money, you need to clean up. And sometimes there's not exactly a meeting of the minds. So you all get to figure out who's going to do it, but have that conversation. And it is the realtor's job, they are the manager of this situation, to have that conversation and try and work that stuff out, come up with a schedule, and make sure that everybody's on the same page. But when I show up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, everybody needs to be gone, and it needs to be perfect. So figure it out, have it ready, and let me do my thing so I can give you some amazing pictures and video. Before departing the house, I like to have all of the lights on in the house, outside landscaping lighting, lights above the patio, swimming pool lights, spa lights. I pretty much want everything on, particularly for twilight at night. I don't need the lights on. I carry thousands of watts of professional strobe lighting, which is lighting me up right now, by the way. So I don't really need the lights except at night. I've got plenty of lighting, but I think the house probably looks a little bit better, and most people prefer to see a little sparkle of light in the ceiling here and there. So please turn on the lights. On the exterior of the home, if you have security motion detector spotlights, if you can turn those off, turn those off. That kind of flood lighting often is very, very bright, too bright for my camera, and the color temperature of those lights is usually horrendous. It's this fluorescent green that kind of puts a weird tint on everything. So no floodlights or security type lights if at all possible. Having said that, there's always going to be challenges. There's going to be some lights out. Sometimes we can't turn something off. I'll deal with it. That's my job as a photographer, and I'll do my best to either minimize it or Photoshop it, or I'll do what I can to make it look as presentable as possible. Fire features. We've got fire pits. Some houses have tiki torches and fireplaces and things. Starting with the interior of the home, if I'm doing photos, I'll do that with Photoshop. You don't need to turn the fire on. I'll put some kind of little synthetic fire in there. If we're doing video, we absolutely need it on. Also, one other difference that comes between photo and video is ceiling fans. For photos, definitely ceiling fans off. They look weird when they're spinning. It makes it look blurry on the ceiling, so it's better to have those off. With video, I'm going to want those on, and we may have to adjust those throughout the shoot. More and more, I'm not putting a fire in the fireplace on the outside of the house during the day. It's a bright sunny day. There's beautiful golden sunlight coming across the swimming pool. It would seem weird that there would be people enjoying the pool and a fireplace at the same time. Definitely want to have those on at twilight as it starts to get darker at nighttime. That's the time when it gets colder. That's the time, the romantic time by the fire. So fireplaces and things, we can leave those off until a little bit later. Also, a lot of these little fire pits and things have propane in them. Please check and see if there's propane. Is it working? If it's not working, can we get it working? Once again, I can Photoshop it, but real fire has a very dynamic glow to it, and I prefer real flames whenever I can. Also, having said that, in photos, a lot of times the fire is much, much brighter than everything else on the house. So I don't really like to turn them up super high. If you've got an outdoor fire pit, medium to medium low is probably about the right thing. And if you wait till the last minute, I get people out there trying to change light bulbs in the middle of my photo shoot. This stuff needs to be handled a week before your photo shoot, or days before, or the morning before. But don't wait until the last minute. Please be prepared. After you've left the house, the most critical time and the best photos are typically the twilight photos. Please do not come home early. We will have a schedule, but let's say sunset's at 6 o'clock p.m. I'll be shooting and probably busy doing really important stuff till 6:30. So if I tell you 6:30, don't come driving up at 6:10 saying, hey, can we come in? I may have the drone flying. Your car headlights are going to ruin the photos. They're going to ruin the video. We really need you to stay away till I'm completely done. And you'll know when that time is, but don't come home early, please. Okay, front exterior of the home. Landscaping, grass, leaves swept up and removed. Front porch, clean and free of decorative elements. A potted plant looks beautiful. A dead potted plant should be removed. If you've got little religious items, if you've got little gnomes and Bambi and stuff, that stuff's kind of more personal and is probably better off to remove those items and just have it look a little more stock. Once again, check the lights, see if they work. Hopefully they all match in color. Please remove any maintenance tools, rakes, brooms, garden hoses. Garden hoses, they're typically strewn all over the place. They need to be wrapped up, and I don't want to see them. If you can get rid of them, get rid of them. If not, tuck them under a branch. Remember, with my camera and the wide angle lens and the drone from above, you can see everything. Every little thing is going to show up in your picture. So the more we can hide stuff, the better. Rear of the house, the same items as for the front. Pets become more of an issue with the pet thing. There's little doggy toys, dog beds, water dishes. Please remove all the pet items. Don't want to see them anywhere. Barbecue, uncover the barbecue. Make sure the barbecue is clean. Tuck that barbecue cover out. Recreational items, soccer balls, pool floaties, surfboards, boogie boards, ping pong tables. If something looks beautiful and it's staged, we're all good. But in general, that stuff needs to be, tucked away in the garage somewhere. By the way, I usually won't take pictures in garages, so that's a good place to hide things. If it's an amazing garage and it's got some custom features, we'll probably take a picture of it. But other than that, you can hide stuff in the garage for the most part. Hose, the hose that's in the swimming pool, that's much better if you can take that out. And this is going to come up with another topic, which is wet. I don't want anything wet at the house. When people get out and they hose off everything before the photo shoot, and that water starts to dry and it's half dry and half wet, and it looks moldy and mottled and dark, and it just doesn't look good. Wet concrete does not look good unless it's all equally wet at the same time. And I personally don't do that in my photos, so I don't want anything wet. Don't use any water anywhere the day of the photo shoot. When you pull the pool hose out, try not to drag water across the patio as you do that, or you end up with this big dark, it looks like a big dirt spot running across the patio or across the concrete by the pool. So please get rid of that pool hose if you can. And I can take it out with Photoshop if we're doing photos. It's kind of a pain, but I'll do it if I have to. Video, there's no way to take it out, so it's much better without the pool hose. Furniture in general, pool furniture, umbrellas, patio furniture. Let's get it all straightened up, symmetrical. I want you to be really angular, geometrically perfect. A lot of times I'm flying a drone over and I look down and you look at the the lawn chairs and stuff around the pool, and they're all facing a different direction. We want to get all that stuff dialed in and looking perfect even from the air. And the same thing on the patio, of course. Let's fluff the pillows. A lot of people go out there, they smoke cigars and stuff. Let's clean all that stuff up. The patio areas are very important areas, I think, to show the lifestyle of your amazing home. And so we want it to look as clean and pristine as your great room. Once again, fire features, fire pits, fireplaces. There's a lot of people that don't use their fireplace out on the patio. Does it work? They always find out at the last minute, oh my goodness, it won't start. I don't know what happened. Maybe the propane's out. Let's call the manager. No, it's too late. When I'm there for the photo shoot, that stuff needs to be going. So check it well in advance, please. Here's a few advanced exterior tips. A lot of times people have these little windows that kind of open and close. You know, you get the little winder and they'll open up. I like to see everything real symmetrical. Sometimes you get 2 windows open and 2 windows closed and it just kind of looks messy to me. I want everything to match and look clean. So I prefer those either all open, equally the same, or all closed, probably closed in general. Also, as far as indoor-outdoor stuff, I like if there's, let's say your master bedroom opens out and there's a little patio outside or something, I'll usually open up those screens and doors and windows and give you that feeling of the way this space flows evenly from inside to outside. So we need those screens and doors to all be able to be unlatched and opened up. I'm shocked to find how often I go to open up a door and it's just frozen shut. No one's ever opened it before, and I can't open it for the pictures. So take a look at that. Garden decorations, again, I talked about the front porch, same thing in the backyard. Let's get rid of all the gnomes and declutter a little bit. I frequently see a lot of dirt and grunge on the outside areas, spider webs and things like, let's say you've got an outdoor dining area. A lot of times there's little spider webs that get all over the place, and that stuff shows up in the pictures. So let's get either you or the housekeeper out there with a dustpan and kind of clean up some of that stuff. I don't have time to do it. I'm happy to do it, but in order to take beautiful pictures, my hands are full. If you're trying to, sometimes people, they take all these like pool floaties and stuff and they go, oh, I'm gonna hide it, I'll put it on the side of the house. But when I'm in the backyard looking at the house, I can see those surfboards over on the side of the house and it looks like a mess, it looks like a junkyard. So if you're gonna hide something, remember, my camera sees everything. So get it really hidden if you're hiding things. Okay, back, let's go to the interior. I'm getting long-winded here. Once again, everything should be as clean as possible. Personal items should be removed. Family photos, college degrees, posters. You're gonna be moving anyhow. You're putting your house up for sale. You're gonna have to pack this stuff up because you're going to a new place. Let's pack it up now before the photos, and let's pack it up before all the people come to your house for showings. They don't want to see your personal items. The house looks cleaner without it, and you don't feel like your privacy is being invaded near as much. So try to depersonalize, get rid of anything, you know, just everybody's got little stuff in their office and little pictures and things, and we'll try to get rid of that stuff as much as possible. Imagine if you had a house that was completely empty and you hired a stager to come in and stage it. They would try to make it look lived in, and they would, but the house would be empty, so they would add items to make the house look correct. That would be the ideal thing. Only have an item visible if it helps enhance the scene. If it doesn't add to the view of the room, then let's remove it. So I want stuff removed as much as possible. Again, I've got a very wide angle lens. If I'm in a bedroom and you've got a bunch of like Tupperware dishes under your bed, I can see that. If you stand in the room and you can see it, my camera's gonna see it as well. So we wanna remove, declutter, clean. Really important, windows dirty, especially ocean listings or listings with views. I've had a couple of situations where I've got $11 million listing and no one's got the windows clean, and it's right on the beach and you can't see through the windows. Well, that's obviously not the best way to promote the sale of that home. So we definitely need windows to be relatively clean. Certain times of the day when the sun hits a dirty window, it makes it a billion times worse. And I had one realtor once say, oh, well, if you're shooting digital, it's okay if the windows are dirty. I don't know where he got that, but that's not correct. Clean windows is what we always want. As a general rule, Photoshop is a bad word for me and for any photographer. And here's what it means. Homeowners and the realtors will often have a big pile of crap in the backyard and they go, oh, you can just Photoshop that. No, you're asking me to clean the house. When you say you can Photoshop that, you're telling me This house is a mess and we want you to clean it up digitally. Let me tell you something. It is a lot easier to move a pile of junk out of the backyard manually than it is to do it in Photoshop. If you want me to do that, I can do it. It's going to cost extra, and a lot of times that stuff is way more complicated than you think from a Photoshop perspective, and so I have to outsource that and send it to a high-end retoucher. And I'm a high-end retoucher, but it's way beyond my ability, some of this stuff. And so it's much better. Don't ever use the term, well, let's just Photoshop that. No, let's clean it up and have it right and get it right in camera the first time. And I think I'm about at the end of my list, but I just wanted to give you some extra things to think about that maybe hadn't crossed your mind. And once again, the PC-15 thing is huge. Let's get this house as perfect as possible and then get out of the way. PC-15, people and cars should be gone 15 minutes before the appointment. If there's a car in front of the house, it's not as easy to get a great picture of the front of the house as if it looks like a model home. So thanks for your attention. Please Google preparing your house. Ask me for my list. I'm happy to give it to you. And that is the advanced casual version of Shay's Home Preparation Guide. We'll see you next time.